All right, well, good afternoon. Welcome to this 10 Weather Impact Show. I'm meteorologist Chris Tomer. We've got a hot afternoon. Temperatures are hovering in the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees in many cases. And as expected, we are seeing a couple of thunderstorms begin to pop up here in the afternoon, heating mainly off to the east side of central Ohio. But we'll start with radar here. And let me just kind of show you. So typically, there's your I-71 corridor, and we're seeing most of the storms develop over here, and that was expected. And these are all just, as we call them, pop-up thunderstorms. They're not severe, but certainly they're going to have some heavy rainfall with them. You'll get a quick downpour, especially towards Zanesville, down towards Logan and Cambridge. You can see that right over here at the I-77-70 interchange. Some of those could be strong. Some of those storms do look like they're turning strong with some gusty winds, but certainly lightning and some heavy rain with those. Let's widen this out just a little bit. Here's your state view, and right there in that corridor extending all the way into southern Ohio, lightning and afternoon thunderstorms are making an appearance. So here is the precipitation forecast all the way through tonight into tomorrow. So we have this 30% risk of thunderstorms across central Ohio, and then it will drop off overnight to 0. But then it will pick back up tomorrow in the afternoon with another 30% chance of some isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon. And that goes for the fair as well, the Ohio State Fair. Pretty similar forecast today and tomorrow with temperatures at around 90 degrees. Dry morning tomorrow, but then once we get into the afternoon, and this should say tomorrow at the fair, but the forecasts are very similar today and tomorrow with some isolated thunderstorms. Here's your weekend outlook. Now, just taking a peek at it, Friday is our highest chance of rain and storms at about 60%. In fact, we may have some in the morning and then again a few in the afternoon on Friday, 83. So both days, Friday, Saturday, sitting at 83 degrees. 30% chance of some lingering rain and storms in the morning on Saturday. And then I do think it will start to turn drier in the afternoon. And Sunday looks to be like a pretty nice day. And the driest day of the weekend, 86, and a lot of sunshine. Part of the equation here has to do with the humidity. You'll notice it's up a little bit today, and it will stay elevated on Thursday, go up on Friday, and stay high on Saturday into that uncomfortable category. The 70s, that means dew points in the 70s, which is a measure of moisture in the atmosphere. It will drop down on Sunday. That's our dry day. And then it will start to come back up on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. High temperatures right at 90. Today's close. Tomorrow I've got right at 90. That's about 6 degrees above the normal for this time of the year. Cooler on Friday and Saturday. That's what the blue represents. And then warmer again Sunday and Monday. Monday back to about 90 degrees. Precip chances tomorrow mirroring today at 30%. Friday is the highest chance of the week at 60%. Down to 30 Saturday, 0 on Sunday. And then next week the chances start to go back up between Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Tuesday being the highest at 50%. Now tracking these storms on our forecast radar and satellite. So this is 4 o'clock and we've got storms developing at 4 pretty much where we're seeing them right now. This is the preferred area for these storms all the way through this evening, and then they dissipate and they move away once the daytime heating with the sun stops there, and then they're gone. By Thursday morning, it is dry, it is clear. In the afternoon on Thursday, we'll see another little round of some showers and some storms popping up across central Ohio. Friday's a little different. As I was saying, higher chances of rain and storms in the morning and in the afternoon. This is 5 a.m. We've already got some showers and storms across a lot of the northern counties, and then those move away. We'll get a fresh round in the afternoon here. This is 5:30 p.m. Storms rumbling across central Ohio at that point with some heavy rainfall. And then by 11 p.m., this is showing pretty much everything is over at that point. Saturday morning appears to start out pretty dry, according to this. As far as rain, still looking for anywhere from a half an inch to about an inch here by late Friday across central Ohio. Low temperatures tonight, a mix of some 60s and 70s, and high temps tomorrow right at that 90-degree mark here for central Ohio. Here's your 7-day forecast and our chance of rain on Friday at 60%. Saturday, the chance is 30. Sunday looking good, the driest day of the weekend at 86. Enjoy it. And then back to about 90 Monday. Higher chance of rain and storms coming in on Tuesday, and it kind of trickles into Thursday. Well, the heat is back on this in this week in our forecast, obviously, but you can stay cool through the end of summer with a new box fan from 10 TV, 97.1 The Fan, and Life Care Alliance all teaming up for the annual Beat the Heat fan drive. And this week there's a fan distribution happening. We hope you can help with this. The distributions are all at Life Care Alliance's Harmon Avenue location. There's one tomorrow on Thursday from 2 to 3 and in the afternoon. The next is Tuesday and Thursday of next week as well with the same time. So if you can help us out with that. So for those of you looking to help a neighbor out this time of the year, especially when it gets hot on these days, you can help them keep cool. You can donate a new box fan at any Franklin County fire station or make a donation through Life Care Alliance. Every donation helps Central Ohio families, seniors, and others in need and stay cool during the summer months. You can text the keyword FAN to 614-460-3345 to find out how to donate together. And together we can help beat the heat. These are just perfect days to do that. All right, so moving on from the heat and looking out to the west, where we're still following a number of devastating wildfires. Multiple states are seeing numerous fires burning, with many under evacuation orders this afternoon. In Utah, firefighters continue to suppress the Widemouth wildfire. The fire grew to an estimated 79,000 acres, roughly, with 0% containment, according to Utah Fire. Officials say the hot, dry, windy conditions, that's what it always is, hot, dry, and windy, are expected to increase fire activity. To the west, crews are battling the fast-growing Gan fire in northern California's Cavaleras County there, which has forced evacuations near New Hogan Lake. The fire started Monday evening near Hogan Dam and Gan Roads on the southeastern side of the lake there. According to California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, the Gan fire has burned an estimated about 6,500 acres there with no containment. And no injuries or damages to structures have been reported. All right, then to the north, Sunrise revealing damage from devastating wildfires there in Spokane, Washington. You may have heard about these on Wednesday. These fires have destroyed over 700 houses and other buildings and forced 64,000 people to evacuate Spokane. The city is hardest. It's the city hardest hit by wildfires sweeping through the drought-stricken Pacific Northwest. I mean, it all started with just a terrible winter up there and just very little precip. So the burned out shells of cars and smoldering debris can be seen as the sun rose over the woods early on Wednesday. A 37-year-old man appeared in court on Tuesday. He was charged with starting one of the three wildfires there. Aaron Farinacci is accused of starting the Old Trails fire. That's one of three that erupted on Saturday and to the north and to the west of Spokane. Of course, we continue to follow closely the developing story around Spokane with the wildfires there. CBS News' Jesse Mitchell has the latest.
Residents of Spokane, Washington have started the process of sifting through the wreckage of homes destroyed in this week's devastating wildfires.
This particular neighborhood has been pretty wiped out.
Cammie Failing said the flames spread so rapidly over the weekend, she and her family only had time to salvage a few things.
I grabbed my wedding album, I grabbed the kids' baby books.
Samantha Simmons fled with nothing but her pets.
I packed up the dogs and I left with just the clothes that I was wearing and the dogs, and my dad stayed as long as he possibly could until literally his arm hair was singeing off.
This week, crews have been working to control 3 separate wildfires in and around Spokane, Washington's second largest city. The blazes have burned down at least 700 buildings and forced tens of thousands to evacuate. Late Monday, investigators announced the arrest of 37-year-old Aaron Farinacci in connection with one of the fires. Farinacci, who was convicted of manslaughter for killing his father in 2010, faces charges on suspicion of first-degree arson.
He was found to be in possession of some waterproof matches, a butane lighter, and a pack of cigarettes, things that could be very easily used to start a fire.
Farinacci made his first court appearance Tuesday afternoon. The Spokane wildfires are among dozens that have been roaring across the western U.S. in recent days, impacting communities in Colorado, Utah, and beyond. Jesse Mitchell, CBS News, New York.
Well, as we continue to follow conditions in Spokane, they are starting to shift from emergency response to long-term recovery. Meanwhile, community leaders are organizing an assistance center to help displaced people find the resources that they need in one place. Alex McClune from our sister station King 5 reports.
First responders are cracking down at neighborhood checkpoints, now checking IDs for proof of address. People who get by walk 15 minutes to reach the start of one of the hardest hit parts of Spokane.
What's the state of your home?
My home is intact. It was a hallelujah to see it.
Debbie Hill and her daughter carried back suitcases to drive to their hotel.
I heard things were heavy. Did you grab everything you could?
Yes, I guess. I'm just coming back in 2 days no matter what.
As firefighters from as far as Los Angeles work around the clock, Spokane community leaders are coming together. The city and its school district are pulling together resources for those who lost everything. This Spokane high school has set up the Disaster Assistance Center, one roof where you can find emergency services and nonprofits.
Is when we go through hard times, we come together as a community.
Hundreds of community organizations pack the school's auditorium to help start the one-stop shop, a place fire survivors can find clothes, childcare, access to housing, replace important documents, and access financial and insurance assistance.
It's a great idea.
Ready to help those scrambling to put their lives back together.
It's tough to keep a household intact when you are also trying to keep your kids and pets from bickering and fighting and being cooped up with some cabin fever.
Of course, the other impact we are seeing from these fires is related to poor air quality, something we've been battling now for a couple of weeks at least. The air quality in many of the western states is poor. This map here shows the air quality alerts in place related to the fires in Spokane, with numerous areas experiencing degraded air quality conditions, to say the least, this afternoon. This coming in as new data suggests exposure to air pollution is linked to a rise in rheumatoid arthritis. A study in Korea found that dust, soot, and smoke can all cause worsening arthritis. The study's authors say this is a significant finding because the levels of air pollution are rising around the world. Those air quality concerns are not just in Washington state today, but in parts of California as well, dealing with wildfires there. With more on that story, here's Brad Hamilton reporting from Concord, California.
On Monday night, at Contra Costa Fire's headquarters in Concord, 22 firefighters hit the road, headed to help battle the devastating wildfires around Spokane, Washington. Deputy Chief of Operations Charles Stark says that number and those vehicles are not chosen at random.
We do monitor our own weather conditions at home, and that's part of the decision process we have for how much we can send out and what we can afford to loan out.
The Confire crew members, who had a 17-hour drive ahead of them, are no strangers to helping out elsewhere. This video is from July 21st, where Confire crews were dispatched to wildfires near the Nevada border. They say they know other departments would do the same if the roles were reversed.
Region, state, even department like ours can be expected to have all the resources available that could be required for any situation.
And even with those current wildfires burning hundreds of miles away in the Pacific Northwest, the Bay Area Air District issued an air quality advisory for both today and tomorrow, with smoke expected to drift into the region. At the same time, there's also a heat advisory for the second straight day here in the East Bay, and residents have taken notice. Larry, who has lived in Concord his whole life, feels each year the hottest temps come later and later.
It used to be, July and June were pretty hot, and July really hot. Instead, we just had the coolest July.
And for those wondering if what we've seen in places like Spokane could be a warning for what's ahead in the Bay Area, U.S. Wildland Fire Service meteorologist Brett Lutz says forecasters are paying attention to larger climate patterns that lead to more extreme weather. He says what is likely going to be one of the strongest El Niños on record could lead to a wetter than average winter that could impact fuels for next year's fire season.
To get good precipitation out of them, which then in turn grows the fine fuels, and then by The following year or so, we then end up having a lot of, increased grass and brush.
And one final wildfire story this afternoon. After 19 months after the deadly Eaton fire, the LA County fire investigation into that cause is now complete. It found a SoCal Edison tower, not even in service, is to blame. CBS's LA's Joy Benedict in Altadena has more on what it might mean for homeowners trying to rebuild there.
This is it. It's coming together.
It has been a long 19 months for victims of the Eaton fire.
Welcome to my kitchen.
For John Marino, he's hoping to finally move back into his home on East Calavera Street by the end of the year. Good news in itself. But he says the fire department's report is even better.
Hopefully justice will be done.
He's one of hundreds of homeowners who've already filed a lawsuit against SoCal Edison as his insurance didn't cover the cost of the rebuild.
Between the insurance coverage and the contractor's estimate, it's close to $500,000.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot, and money that I was not expecting to spend.
2 miles away.
This is going to be my little porch.
Lynn Hilsebeck is getting paint on her walls. She went a different path and has applied for SoCal Edison's Wildfire Recovery Compensation Program, as she says her insurance policy provided most of the cost to rebuild.
The house might get finished, but I will not have anything inside it. I'll be on my blow-up bed for camping, you know?
In a new report released Tuesday, fire investigators determined the fire was caused by electrical arcing events that took place on the out-of-service Southern California Edison Tower. Things attorneys who filed cases have showed in videos collected from the night of the fire.
This is further underscoring what the plaintiff's attorneys have been working on.
Danny Wallens' firm is representing hundreds of families suing SoCal Edison.
For some of the homeowners, they hope that this means that the litigation will move faster.
That would be the hope. So hopefully this removes another barrier to moving closer to resolution.
SoCal Edison has already taken responsibility for the fire and started the recovery compensation program almost a year ago.
The compensation program is to fill that gap and connect people to that final step of recovery.
So far, more than 4,000 claims have been submitted to SoCal Edison's wildfire recovery program, and funds have been offered totaling more than $775 million. But for many, like John Moreno, he says it is not enough. He took out a loan with the Small Business Administration and he now needs to pay it back. He says although money can't replace what was lost, it is a big step to making sure his house and his heart are whole again.
I think you have nothing to lose by filing.
And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. First up, a group of kids from Great Ormond Street Hospital came to meet a penguin at the London Zoo last week, who was named after the unit they're actually being treated in. Mildred, named after the Mildred Creek unit at London Hospital, was also given a special bracelet that helps to identify her, with the bracelet colors chosen by the kids themselves. It's a great experience for the children to get a break from the stresses of being in a hospital. All right, and finally today, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket booster is said to have crashed into the surface of the moon, believe it or not, around 2:35 a.m. at a speed of 5,400 miles per hour, according to NASA. The company says the impact was near the moon's Einstein and Bell craters and is not expected to pose any danger to Earth, of course, but was expected to leave a crater about 60 feet wide. So I'm starting to think about this now, and 12 feet deep, and throw dust and rock outward as part of the ejecta there. During the original January 2025 mission, the upper part of the rocket designated as disengaged as 2 spacecraft went on their way. The mission was partly successful as Firefly's Blue Ghost 1 made a successful landing, but Japan's iSpace Hakuto R made a rare man-made collision with the lunar surface. Very interesting story developing there. Let's go back to radar quickly here before we close out the show here. And as expected, we've got these pop-up thunderstorms happening. A lot of it mainly east of I-71. You've got some around Chillicothe, MacArthur, Athens, McConnellsville, Zanesville, and Cambridge. So I'll be here through the course of the evening to track these storms and look at what's next on Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.